Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary ice spy going on here, back on Mars, back in Gale Crater, and we're looking at an image from Sol 1429. Now, this was taken a while back, not that long ago. I can't remember what number we're up to now, but this was months ago this was taken. And we have this image of the ridgeline here, and loads and loads of debris and fragments of rock and stuff. Some of these are really quite odd. And especially this one right in the middle here, okay? We have this little thing here and this rather strange structure here. So I'll show you the clip straight away to save time. And here we have it. Okay, let's get the raw image first. And I think we are on this one here. There we are. And we have this rather strange boat-like structure here, okay? Now, I'm not saying this is a boat. I'm just saying it's kind of pointed like the front end of a boat. It's probably not. It's probably just some sedimentary rock that's kind of split in a rather interesting way, but it kind of looks like petrified wood. Okay, so I'm going to show you some clips of that. But next to that object, just to the right of it, is something else. And it looks like it might be another tiny, tiny little lizard just here. We have the boat-like structure here on the left. This is a completely raw image. I've done nothing to this. And then we have this little thing here, which looks like a little tiny lizard. And when you would enhance the contrast, brighten it, and color correct it a bit, it seems to have a little eye and a little nose here and a neck and a couple of legs here and like a leg or a back leg or something there. Now, this is absolutely minuscule, this thing. So this may just be a trick of the light and another optical illusion, but there are other lizards that I've published on Mars, and snakes and other creatures that look like they're preserved on the surface. Okay, let me show you a close-up of that. Like here. Here's a bit of a close-up. Now, if you get too close to it, it doesn't actually get any clearer. You can make out an eye here, and a little neck and a head, and some very, very vague details of what looks a bit like a body and some legs. It may well not be, of course. But what was more interesting to me really was the actual structure next to this, which shows better in this image, which kind of looks like petrified wood with some very interesting patterns in there, okay? And there's the little lizard-like thing here, which may not be, of course. But there was another one near it in this, in the next image here. There was another one up here. Now, I can't remember exactly where it is. I think it's here somewhere. But there are some odd little details in here, like little things sticking up, perfectly straight objects sticking up, and lots of tiny fragments. So it may well just be a broken fragment of sedimentary rock that kind of looks like a lizard. But this kind of looked to me a bit like a bug or a lizard as well. And this one seems to have a body here and a head here with two eyes and like a little beak type structure here. Now, this may also be a rock, of course. When you have things this small, it's impossible to tell when the images are not zoomed in and in proper focus. And that's about as good as you're going to get this image, really, when you clean it up. There's not really enough detail in the image to determine whether this is or not, unfortunately. But it does, at a glance, kind of look like a little bug or a lizard or some kind of creature. But these shapes here are looking far too angular to be natural, okay? I would expect that to be more likely to be a broken fragment of some kind of, like I said, some kind of sedimentary rock from the area, which may have fallen down the side of this ridgeline, okay? So, yeah, nothing to change the world here, but interesting nonetheless. The boat structure to me was actually more interesting than the lizard thing, because I have found what looked like about 30 boats and ships in Gale Crater so far. Some of them are very large indeed, hundreds of feet long, but most of them aren't. Most of them are only 5 or 10 or 20, 30 feet long. This, if it was part of a boat, would be very small and only a few foot long if this was the front end of a boat. So the boat would only be literally big enough for a small child, okay, or a very small person. So there we have it, okay? Answers on the postcard as usual. Is it a little lizard here? Let's zoom into that a little bit. It's a bit vague, I do appreciate that. It's not easy to see. It's very, very small indeed. It's less than half a centimetre, I'd say, this thing. It's really one of the smallest things I've actually bothered to publish so far. I wouldn't normally bother, but the fact that I've found other ones recently, like I have up here, like the 1 inch tiny horned reptile, which I published back in November. This kind of went a bit viral because I got it in the newspapers, and it was all across the press actually in the US and the UK and across Europe as well, and did well for a few weeks, and I was quite pleased about that. And this may also just be a little rock, but I'll show you that anyway in case you haven't seen it, just to show that I'm not making all this up. There are other similar artifacts and structures in the area that do look kind of like creatures that have been mummified in the freezing environment and dried out. And this one looks like a little turtle or some kind of lizard, but is a lot bigger. This is more like 1/2 inch, so is a lot clearer, and it's got 2 little horns here, and it's got an eye here and a little beak here. Okay, let's pause it there. So who knows, it could be related. It may well not be related. I mean, it may well be absolutely nothing to do with it. As many of these things on Mars, just because they're in the same area does not mean they are the same. There we have it. What can I say? Answers on the postcard as usual. Let's just go back to that folder very quickly. And a little quick recap. There is this one here. I'll put these in at the end of the video anyway. I'll try and clean this up a bit more. Unfortunately, these aren't as clear because they're a bit further away and they're still very, very small. And the camera is out of focus, being probably set to infinity focus, which means everything is slightly out of focus, okay? That's the problem with the mass cam on the Curiosity rover, as we have seen. There we go again. So little guy. And when I say guy, I don't mean necessarily a male or female. It's just a generic term I use for boys and girls. So when I say hello guys, I do mean girls as well. I know there are quite a few of you female subscribers out there who are really cool and send me stuff in a lot. In fact, some of the best finds, in fact, recently have been sent in by some of my top researchers out there who happen to be female. So there we go. So there we have it. Is it a lizard or is it just a rock? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.